就没有。但其实你可以讲，可以拿那个泡泡机来讲。
你知道有一个 repo 叫 awesome lightning 吗？你就列举那里面的东西不就好？
发我，你把那个 repo 找出来吧。哎，怎么这么？这好样。
随便搜一下就有了。哎，所以我觉得番茄做这东西真是差劲到家了。他也不跟我们交流，也不知道做这东西目的是什么。他就是在胡差事，你知道吗？
就像在插科打诨，你知道吗？
我说他插科打诨，你还不信？你真不应该给他8000。是我的话，我8000发完就，我觉得他做的工作只值8000。
哎，不知道他怎么回事，我真的是。
我觉得其实就是菜。
菜真不至于。你像我认识番茄认识2年了，天天跟他相处，对吧？
那你居然还不知道他菜吗？
他不菜，我跟你讲，他不菜。他学东西可快了，而且做事情其实也很快。但我都不知道
他这样搞一搞，我都以后再也不想和他合作。
但我不知道他都怎么回事。你想，对吧？谁这工作辞了都1年不上班了？我感觉在临刚出来的人都很伤。啊，这不是那个谁的 PPT 吗？那个印度小哥的。
对。
如果刚好吹着南风，突然想去海边走走，回味一个人的自由。只是和朋友聊了好久，一时忘了时间在走，偶尔也要让你想想我。就算你紧紧牵着我，也不代表我属于你。我有自己的生活，还不是每天相依为命。我要对坚持半糖注意，永远让你觉得意犹未尽。若有似无的甜，才不会觉得腻。我要对坚持半糖注意，真心不用天天黏在一起，爱得来不易，留一点空隙，彼此才能呼吸。有多少？
你没加呀？我没加。哦。对啊，然后你第一页是这个图，第二页是画了红线的这个图。
Oh, I need to rebalance. So I need to make sure that I'm always keeping my channels in balance. And I kind of want to like drill into what that means exactly, because it can mean different things. So sometimes people think into what that means exactly. And that creates actually kind of like a weird market where I have to treat all liquidity as kind of the same thing. And because it's a weird market, it's a less efficient market. And this is something we need to think about, like how can we make just a market action so good that the capital is going to be allocated in the correct places. And one workaround that currently works is you could just set all of your fees on the outbound side to be equal. And then you can only think about the inbound side. So like if I'm acquiring inbound liquidity, because of the single pair market, I don't know if that inbound liquidity is going to make me money in the future on a good route or a bad route. So it makes it hard for me to justify a purchase of inbound liquidity. But if all of my outgoing channels are the same fee, well then I can figure it out. I can do the math. So that's something that I think that we can improve in the future. I think that will improve the efficiency of the market, and it will also let us open up to external settlement mechanisms. So that if you're running like a side chain, you're running some different chain, that you're not forced to treat those two incoming assets as the same thing. The other major cost, other than chain fees, is really your time. So I think that's like one of the main components of the cost of being a routing node operator at the moment, is that I load up a Lightning node and I have to invest time in becoming educated about what liquidity means. I need to invest time in writing programs to make sure that my liquidity is being allocated efficiently. And I have fun doing that, but I'm going to get bored of it. So I've got other stuff to work on. So something I've been working on is called balance of Satoshis. And my high-level goal for balance of Satoshis is to just do everything for me and don't bother me. And the things that I really want to care about in terms of my node are, I want to know if there's some kind of high-level problem, like it's offline, and I want to know about high-level capital decisions. So it needs more money, or it has too much money, and it needs to go off, I need to move some money somewhere else. So that's my high-level goal, is to try to reduce that cost of operations. So what are things that I'm looking at with my balance of Satoshis tool?
笑死我了！那个 Lightning Conference 卖票都拿 Lightning 去卖，也没几天啊，这个会，靠这个会没几天，就10天前才刚开的。
10月20号，我有好多好。
这么个东西。糟糕，我的头发又要打结了。
好吧，今天网络开发那么多，
我再补。其实，闪电网络实验室官网有几个 slide，你把里面东西抄一抄放进去。
找到，
你好弱。哎，这么弱怎么办呀？怎么有啊？其实我觉得，我让番茄做这个东西的用意，还是说想看一下他的学习能力。结果我发现他的学习能力，他并没有把心思放在这上。我给你发了一个 slide。
我今天就是找他聊嘛，然后他一路上来跟我扯一些乱七八糟的东西，就整个人就不想跟你对话，你知道吗？
那你不发钱不就完了吗？你干嘛要发钱呢？你这样让我觉得我一直处于吃亏的状态，我觉得我被搞了。
我给你影像，你不要被搞了吗？
啥？
你拿一张看这个，消极怠工，然后现在你可以把我们交付不了，只做一半。这感觉很大的问题。
这 slide 几年前的，有多少？15年的，我操！
三分就放在，
他妈的，15年的，
我操，
有没有19年的？我需要19年的。就我其实那天听完番茄的 presentation，我就觉得我不想给他钱，就因为他对这个东西完全没有认知。他做完这套东西脑子是空白的，你知道吗？
我知道。
我觉得可能我当时给你表达的不够强烈，我觉得我当时在群里面已经非常愤怒了。
就是让他把东西传给他的协议是，没有该有技能党的样子。
我觉得这个事情你肯定得背锅啊，因为你是 endorse 他的，对不对？
然后呢，飞过，然后呢？
所以要你来做这个 PPT 啊？你现在不是把它的？
我现在已经在做了呀。
我不是在帮你吗？其实我看到这个东西，我就觉得，如果我不是开公司，我就做了这个东西，我会觉得非常幸福，你知道吗？
是啊，我也觉得很好玩呀，对吧？
我不知道他为什么。
对啊，我也觉得。哎，不是，我认识他那么久，我就觉得现在这个状态很可惜，我觉得真的是。就你去认识他，跟他工作过一段时间的聊，对他的评价都不会差的。但是他现在状态很差。
我觉得其实我们就拉拢流畅就可以了。
但流畅很保守，流畅。
但是陈浩很容易去 share 流畅，对吧？
是。
所以你可以跟陈浩学怎么去 share 流畅。
没关系啊。但是我觉得流畅
有一个18年的，有一个180年的 Lightning， 还带数据的，搜到的。
对，流畅其实他不关心这件事情，你会发现。
他不关心技术。
对。
他关心什么？我记不太清楚。嗯。
你找到了什么？
我找到一个去年的讲 Bitcoin Wallet 的一个 slides。好像没有讲 Lightning。你现在的 slide 还不到那个 Lightning 的部分了，你先把前面的 background 都补。其实这个话题非常重要的 Lightning， 但是国内 nobody care 这个事情。
这么多做 Layer 2的人，怎么是 nobody care？
我们见过的有哪几个人搞这东西？
大家都想要赶紧变。Levels 呢 ？Levels 他们到底在做什么？我都不知道，但他们融那么多钱，对吧？你有的 Apple， 然后感觉人都很靠谱。
人靠谱，做什么都靠谱。
但是我不知道他们做什么。
他们给火币做了公链。
跟 Levels 啊。
他们用他们的技术给火币做了公链，他们还做了那个 Nervous Layer 2的那个 protocol 的那篇文章，你有读吗？
自己主持是干嘛？
他们做公链的呀。
To B 吗？我知道他们做公链，他们的公链
做公链就可以 to B， 可以 to 对，不一样的。
那个量子差不多还是？
差很多，差很多。
Kiki 怎么没下文呢？那给我简历都没给。
你不着急啊 ，Kiki 以前不着急嘛，是这个事情。其实我现在需要一个人，就是说，当一个说书人的角色，就是把每天我们干了啥，就是
不需要，我们只需要整理，然后脉络清晰放上去就好。你不要，你东西多就代表杂音多，你知道吗？杂音多的东西没有人看的。
Hey, what is going on everyone? Sunny Decre here. In this video, I'm going to present you the future for Bitcoin, the Lightning Network. In this presentation, I want to bring a few points a little bit closer to those people who are new into cryptocurrencies and for those who never really heard about this second layer solution. Why and for what do we even need a solution? Well, maybe you heard already that Bitcoin is slow, not that many transactions can be processed per second, and in this graphic you can see how bad the actual situation is. The transaction verification time on Bitcoin is 1 hour plus. On Ethereum, which is a second generation cryptocurrency, only 2 minutes plus, and on Ripple only 4 seconds. Traditional systems, like an international payment for example, 3 up to 5 days. Also, the possible throughput is way higher in other cryptocurrencies. On Ripple there are 1,500 transactions per second possible. On Ethereum 15 transactions per second, and on Bitcoin so far only 3 up to 6 transactions per second. If you compare this to Visa, Visa has a maximum capacity of around 56,000 transactions per second. Well, of course right now the demand for that many transactions is not there yet, but as you can see the Bitcoin network is growing very fast, so we have to be prepared.
以番茄现在状态，你跟他说话其实都是在浪费时间。
就是工作的话，我觉得是浪费时间。那出于朋友，我挺担心他的这样。他这个人是有事他不跟你讲的，就嘻嘻哈哈的做。像之前在美的有什么读不下去，抑郁症很严重的时候。就你不要以自己的角度去衡量其他人。
好吧，我是有一点，
对啊，
我是有一点不好。
而且你想，番茄以前多照顾你，现在那么命，怎么回事？
嘿，我有点糟糕的，我就是有一点实用主义。谢谢我，我要充电。
你自己有线，选我自己的线。
讨厌你。我就是有一点实用主义的，令人父母，令我负天下人，就叫天下人负我。
死了。
就叫天下人负我。你可以给这个链接，这个是那个 Lightning Developer Tools Community， 里面全是开发者工具。
我感觉这个我报的论坛报错了，我靠，这搞得我。
你没报错啊，你不是硬件论坛吗？
但他们指的硬件论坛又搞得要偏更硬。
你这个还不够硬啊，我觉得超硬啊。
偏硬件一点。
你这个哪里不硬件？
我也觉得，然后那天跟他扯了半天，让我头疼的要死，然后给我打电话扯了半天，让我改那个解改什么。
这个不是 Beginning Guide to Lightning on a Raspberry
当时我就在
Raspberry Pi 吗？
我想睡了，然后就睡了。
我觉得就是你有点菜。
这东西好多呀。
那你前几天都干嘛去了呢？ 那这好吧。这哪里不应届啊？你看那篇文章了吗？我发你的那个 Medium 文章，你自己看。我觉得是大家不懂吧，这东西真的没几个人懂。
那主要那个 panel 全是一些成熟的培育硬件。
其他人都是什么硬件？不都？
什么派？
你这不也树莓派吗？
然后还有什么？
不，你知道不就是树莓派吗？
还有大疆背后。
我看一下。
还挺硬核的那种。
没事，所以你只要讲的大家都听不懂就行了。
我是想让大家听懂的。
不，你让大家听懂这个演讲就会很失败。你懂我意思吗？因为你能听懂的，现在已经是没有东西的了，你知道吗？你必须要把不懂的东西教给大家。我很认真的跟你说这个道理。
我知道。
你谁让你找了一个这么的人做这个项目？你现在只能吞下自己种下的。You can only eat your own dog food。哈哈，你那个会场好惊人。
是啊，我都害怕了。对吧？然后感觉我上来是在讲一个玩具，你有没有感觉？对吧？所以只能布道了。我还能做啥？我只能布道了。
我觉得是你还是你不懂这个东西，所以你才会觉得跟那个没关系。其实你要能讲好的话，这个是一个非常好的 topic。但我觉得不，就是说你会觉得这个东西和那个会场没关系，是因为你不懂这个东西。
我没有说没有关系啊。
你看那个 Medium 的吗？你就量子阅读秒一遍，你就秒一遍嘛。你觉得这不硬？
差不多。我们可以按照这个讲，然后就是说，我们 record 不一致的，就是说我们还在 update。
那你相当于你一晚上时间，你要先学一篇这个文章。
而且我整理在对助理的那个讲课。
哼哼。
这个20分钟讲不完，得抽一点。
就得20分钟读完。而且它这个只是第一步，它只是在树莓派上搭了一个 Lightning 节点。
对。
你那个东西还要在它的基础上再加一层。
再加个那个
交互的模块。就我觉得番茄它 knowledge transfer 能力很差，就是他讲的东西没有人听的。我觉得他主要还是他的心思线不太上。我还是觉得不应该给人家打钱，既然你心思不在这上面。
要钱好吗？但我觉得他还有点小报复，毕竟你以前对吧，抛了他那么多东西，才狠心抛弃了他，你对别人不也爱理不理？
这两码事好吗？
是的，但你觉得？
但我并不是，但我是因为我时间有限呀，对不对？
你时间有限，你不能找借口，找借口你就有很多费劲。
哦天哪，这我觉得完全是两码事。
我操，你有毒吧？
什么？
你这个视频都能下掉啊？
为什么要下掉？
下掉！你他妈的，你智障吧？
你怎么看到的？
我操你妈的！
你怎么看到的呀？
我裤子不出来了，你下了行不行？
我下。
我理解番茄了，你知道吗？你根本就不知道别人。好有毒啊！删了行不行？
我不在删嘛。
你懂得尊重人吗？啊？
这有啥问题吗？
怎么没有问题啊？
我删了还不行？
我他妈内裤都被你拍出来了。
没注意。
有毒吗？
删了。他戳了我2个硬币，讨厌。
你哪有删了？不在啊。
你再刷。
能不能分清楚哪一些能放，哪些不能放啊？每个人给你出门都很尴尬，你知不知道？有些东西都不该拍的，你都一直在拍，你都不懂得什么叫尊重别人。
我不管你的 side 了，你自己做吧。
两码事好吗？真的接受不了这些吗？ 你帮我加个啥？
啊，加啥？
加一个你帮我做个啥？
我没帮你做啥，你都在本地编辑了，我还帮你做什么？
你不是说你在上面帮我？
我本来就没帮你弄，但你都本地编辑了，我还帮你弄啥？
你这个 ID 特别难敲，不知道你用的是哪个 ID？
什么 ID？
你这个 YouTube 的
哦，怎么了？
很难找，
你要找我这个干嘛？
就别人找你很难找。
干嘛要找我呢？
那你自己去看用。
我发现一篇非常棒的教程。发现
番茄那是这个是，
你别看番茄的那个东西，它那个东西没有信息量。你看你正常的不好吗？
哇，你看
你要会找正确的老师啊，好不好？你看番茄的东西干嘛？它那个东西，我告诉你，就是 a piece of shit。你看别人的，再看他的。我给你找了那么好的东西，你不看？
我没有说不看呀。这不是刚才那一篇吗？
对，但是它扩展了，加了很多细节，而且脉络更清晰了。The good old days。我觉得番茄的问题在于它还，
你真的不要再念番茄书。你想想你，他想把曹姐招进来呢，你觉得曹姐一点问题都没有？最开始，你这个人才有问题吧？
周三的活动，曹姐还去了。
那去了你就该付他钱了，对吧？
没有，他不是说自己说家里有事吗？
那你就觉得
他说他
你
现在
该
家里面在拆迁，他要管那个事情。
哦，那他不管这个事情就招过来，对不对？
那要看他做了什么贡献嘛。
他什么贡献都没有做。
对啊，那不就不招吗？
啊，你的逻，我觉得你根本就不懂你在招什么人。你在你的潜意识里就可以招，对不对？
我的潜意识里任何人都可以招。
你就挖数据看看怎么看的。但是 tag 里根本什么都没做，然后出去逢人便说，那他们就很烦他。
那你不只是也是道听途说吗？
我把当事人的说法，你怎么就道听途说了呀？我觉得你成语，你语文你及格没有？
他不是还帮我们修了显示器？
我显示器我拿去给人家100块钱也能修，
那你去，
我要付
那你
8000块钱让他修。
那你去修一修嘛，对不对？
我操你！
我们现在显示器不是坏了吗？
你脑子是有坑还是有屎？
你现在这个 slide 差了非常多的东西。
啥？
你现在的 slide 差了非常多的东西。
你看我线上 slide 干嘛？你又不帮我写，我本地上加了很多东西啊。
啦啦啦啦啦啦啦。你在找什么？
没事。
嗯。
你整成草枕这样的人，第一时间就不应该招。
我招他了吗？
你招了。
我没有判断力吗？
没有。
我是说你别带着 bias 好吗？
你才是带着 bias。
我带着 bias 给谁了？你告诉我。乔姐一共拿了我们多少钱？他做了不止，他做了好几个月好吗？1万多。
做了什么？
我觉得曹姐的贡献比番茄大，你同不同意？
曹姐做了什么？
那
除了鹦鹉学舌，她还做了什么
？Smart 一定是他写了很多代码，他做了 CI/CD， 他搬到了那个 coding 上做了 CI/CD， 他还是有代码能力的好吗？番茄没代码能力好吗？
才没有不大，番茄没代码能力。
那番茄没沟通能力，行吧？
不，你真的认识陈方明？我觉得你根本就不认识陈方明。
对，我确实不认识陈方林，所以我需要通过这个东西认识陈方林嘛。这东西让我完美的认识了他，到底现在是个什么样子的状态。
我觉得你这人好，一个没有判断力，一个是好命。
不，你别让我命不好嘛，你认真点做不行吗？你做成这样子，你让我说，你说我命，你不能怪我吧，对不对？反正你咀嚼玻璃的人是你，对不对？不，我觉得这件事情你就
不要讨论了，行不行啊？天天要吵架。
不，你可以有很好的解决方案嘛。
你天天要吵架吗？
就你其实有很好的可以解决这个问题的呀。你就8000给了以后，他做成这样子，你就不继续付钱了，让我们自己来做嘛，对不对？我觉得我肯定做的比他好。
你能焊板子？
我他妈学一下，我不会焊是吗？我找别人，我那么多朋友，谁做的能不比他差呀？对不对？你信不信嘛？对不对？我觉得就及时止损啊，有这资金我们找谁做不行呢？这是你自己的你自己在这件事上判断严重失职。
你能找曹姐做吗？我觉得你能找朋友你就找曹姐。
我下半年弄完投资有时间，我重新做这个东西行吗？我自己来做这个东西，你别说，我让你看一看。
你不用。
你的菜鸡妈的！
你不用拿这种证明自己的方式来怼我好吗？
那你告诉我我应该怎么？
这根本不重要，这个项目。
网上资料全部他妈现成的，你给我做成这样子。
这个项目已经不重要了，你何必要？
对啊，我是在说你，你为什么做成这样子？你也打钱呢？你看，
你能不能直接怼到番茄身上？你不要怼我，你这么怂的吗？我
怼过一次啊，我觉得我不需要再怼第二次了吗？我那天在群里不怼过一次了吗？
你哪怼了？
我就怼我那天怼完的意思就是说这个项目就结束了，你就跑过去一次，然后把他尾盘打了，不是你的问题，打钱的人是你哎。就你不当时只打了8000的时候，你剩下钱不打，我根本没有这么大怨气，对不对？我也不会这么天天的恶狠狠的咒骂他，对不对？但我 assume 你拿了那笔钱，你肯定得好好做的，对吧？我相信你那个时候也是这么去假设的嘛。
你都没跟番茄沟通，你这么多话，你天天他妈怼到我身上来。
因为你打钱的呀，你干嘛打钱嘛？你打钱之前咨询过我吗？你跟其他人沟通过吗？他做成这个样子，你跟任何人沟通过吗？你没有。
没有咨询过你吗？你说可以的好吗？你不要每次自己说的话你自己都忘了。 你脑子里装点东西行吗？
那我不是不想把关系搞僵吗？
你不管你又想吵架，你又不想把关系搞僵，你想干嘛？我问你。
你现在做 PPT，
你他妈自己拿架来吵。你又怂了吧唧，话又不敢对人家讲。
现在你继续跟他讲这个东西有什么用，对不对？你自己把这东西做完，做的10倍比他好，跟他讲这东西应该怎么做，不就完了吗？
你该怼你往他身上怼行吗？
他又不在这，他在这我肯定怼啊。
对，你微信你立马就打个电话过去了呀。
我何必呢？
那天不就坐着吗？你又不怼。
我那个时候这个项目不就已经结束了吗？
这不得刚开始好吗？结束了。
在他的心中其实已经结束了。
你就这么自己去理解的，对吧？你也不跟人家沟通。
我的理解这件事情呢，其实就让我 take a lesson， 对不对？我觉得这样挺好的，就是说我们在招人之前，先让他参与一个这样子的东西，对不对？知道他能不能做，能不能做事。比如说浩哥，我觉得他为什么靠谱？因为他在参与我们的主项目之前，就可以独立的做本体盒子这个项目，对不对 ？Franco 为什么觉得他靠谱？因为他来之前他已经做了，在我们这边做了无数的项目，对不对？我觉得这样挺好的。之前那个南天在群里给简历的，他连一个开源项目都 on 不了。我觉得就这样，就是说我们招人之前，先让他搞自己的开源项目，专门用来招人用。
这可以啊，但你自己的时间线拉得很长啊，对吧？
什么意思？这样你招人的负担就非常轻。
而且
我觉得之前我们跟 Yoko 在一起的时候，我们每天招人1-2个小时放在电话上，我觉得是非常没有效率的。我觉得其实很简单，就是说我们在我们的代码里留一些坑，给他搞一点 puzzle， 他有没有能力，能不能做事情，立刻就能知道。
是这么说呀。
番茄这件事情让我觉得他一没有责任心，拿钱不做事；2没有学习能力；3没有沟通能力。其中3是最致命的。
这几点完全赞同。
就我本来是想招番茄当合伙人的，你知道我的态度，我的意思。他只要把这个项目认真的交付掉，
大家都这么想，
对吧？
他根本不 care 你，因为我觉得你跟番茄关系其实已经很僵了，你没发现吗？在他 take 这个项目之前，
我真不知道我跟他关系僵，我跟你说，因为我这人其实不记仇的，我跟任何人都能和好。
不，这不是你记不记仇的问题，是你得罪人的问题，你都不知道自己得罪人的。
那我觉得这样很好嘛，现在总算我清楚的认识到你对我的态度了嘛，对不对？我觉得现在我也不亏欠你什么的，对吧？这样大家算打平了，对不对？我以后不会再找你做事情了，对吧？不，我有什么搞笑的呀？你说你本来的意思就是想拿我一笔钱，那我愿意给你嘛，对不对？我不知道我找他在哪。
这也是
我觉得你们在合伙欺负我，你知道吗？
没有，我觉得这也是所有认识你的人都不想因为队长跟什么他们就是
不，我能你见过谁能跟队长一起干活呢？你告诉我，齐欧能跟队长一起干活吗？他能在哪边认认真真的工作半年吗？
有呢。
在哪？
哇，队长现在成长很大好吗？
不
我真的觉得你跟这些人宣称关系很好，但你一点都不认识人。
那
这么感觉，你对吧？人家当你好朋友，你到下面就说人家坏话。
不，我说谁坏话了？我说谁坏话了？
不管队长番茄，所有人都觉得你都不把人家当你自己，真的，人家感觉不到的。
还真不是这样，我真是一开始都把大家当自己人。
没有，大家感觉不到你当自己人，是感觉到你在掏空你，有便宜就占。
我有便宜就占。哎，你凭什么？我觉得
你自己跟别人讲，你不要说我凭什么说，你 自己去理解一下。
那我觉得带爱沟通不到位嘛，对不对？
你加油啊，你自己的。
不着急啊，我觉得机会多的是。
是。哇，你刚刚是回来吗？
电影院。
去看电影啊？
啊，我觉得那个 conference 好棒啊，7个小时的 conference， 全是 Lightning 的最新进展。
这个还要起个 Bitcoin call， 这个不需要起。
他没有起，因为他用了别人的第三方服务。
没有，他说要自己建一个 channel 的，否则付不出去。
你真是对这个事情没有认知。他用了别人的提供的 channel 的服务，然后自己再 build 一个 channel， 这样本地就不用去 build Bitcoin 的全节点。其实我的认知是说，番茄也好，队长也好，他们都很强，学习能力也很强，但是我不能跟他们一起做 startup， 我甚至能跟苏基在一起做 startup， 你知道吗？
那我觉得你做不成功。我跟你讲，就是番茄队长都是真正有工程师文化的人，书记不是，书记只是在 tell 非常多的 engineer story 而已。
对，我觉得其实这个其实是一个 general 的问题，就是那些有工程师文化的人。
这种东西我现在没时间。
我在他妈跟你说非常重要的事情。我说这个其实是一个 general 的 problem， 就你会发现你没有办法跟那些真正有工程师文化的人在一起做 startup， 对不对？因为大家都在想各自的事情。
不是。我觉得是你自己的 convince 能力、逻辑能力不行。你都挑简单的人去聊。你想想你在招人上你花过多少精力吗？你没花过什么精力。你以为你打那几个电话是花精力，那其实一点都不是。你去挖人，去招人，跟他聊，对吧？等人家过来，我觉得这样才是。
是。
你根本一点，你自己回忆一下，你创业这么久，你有做过任何一件事吗？你都是等着别人上门。 你每天嘴上说你要去招人，你都没有招。你干过这样的事吗？你有真诚的三顾茅庐去请一个人来吗？
我现在想请998，因为我觉得我现阶段只能请到他，而且他其实
不
非常
就是吗？
什么？
不就是吗？你就在挑容易的事情来做呀。
他水平也不比其他人差，他不比大家差，好吗？
但是我觉得你这样注定招不到，比如说，对吧？像谷歌早期的一些人这样子类型的工程师，你招不到。
为什么呢？其实我也在考虑这个问题。你想一想，
因为你自己就不够 solid， 我觉得你缺乏自信，你知道吗？
我觉得你别急嘛，我觉得这个事情，
整个人就很猥琐，很多时候就很猥琐。
我觉得你先把这个融资拿到嘛，对不对？你肯定有钱才能招人嘛。
这肯定是呀，但你自己都不反思你的问题了吗？你不反思，你就永远没有进步。你想想，杨文丽从百度出来嘛，人家自己建自己的无人车公司，天天在百度楼下约他觉得合适的人聊，对吧？那知乎也是啊，你创始人你自己都不把50%的精力放在招人上，你怎么去 build 你的 team？
我其实原本的计划是说，我想招队长，我得先搞定番茄，所以我想招番茄。
但是你根本就不了解番茄，你都没有，你其实根本就没有兴趣去了解番茄，你对别人没有兴趣，你根本就不关心他关心。
但我觉得现在没有人能招番茄。
不是，你只想关心，你只想别人关心你关心什么，你根本不想关心别人关心什么。那你这样子，你根本说不动人，你说不到人家心坎里去。
是的，
就是再优秀的工程师，都不是说你要达到共识，你肯定是双方之间找到那个利益共同。
但我觉得你也不能说我什么都没做啊。Frank 是我来找来的呀，而 Frank 也不弱，
是啊，
价格也很好，对吧？而且性价比很高。
但是 Frank 也未必全面呀。
你何必招全面的呢？
不，
你只要在某方面拔尖，不是挺好的吗？
我知道呀，但是
这世界上又哪有全面的人呢？
不是，我不说这个意思，你知道吗？
你什么意思呢？
就能看问题很系统的，然后能很系统的帮你解决问题的人，我觉得 Frank 还达不到，他只是想把他自己那块做好，然后
我觉得我现在就缺这样子的人。
这个当然是缺的呀，但是你要往更长远的走，需要这样，你需要能把系统性的东西做好的。
我觉得浩州现在做的 so far so good， 你不觉得吗？
但是有个问题就是说，我们没有更长远的一个技术计划。你能看到有未来1年的一个技术，我们要打什么方向吗？
我觉得现在这些人就够了呀。我觉得
那我觉得这都要我们先给 knowledge， 我们给建议，然后我们要 grab 很多 background， 然后给到这边。
我觉得现在的技术班底其实足够我们走到下一轮，你懂我意思？
我觉得不够。
那我觉得就是说我融完资之后，我会开始去招更厉害的人。
对，
我觉得这是我工作的最核心的一个点。
我觉得你很浪费的就在于你认识不到人这一点。你想，你之前拿了500万，这个你能招到非常好的人，但你都一个一个的，对吧？大家对你的评价都，要不就你也觉得别人辜负了你，然后人家也觉得你辜负了，就互相之间都评价都很差。你自己还意识不到这种问题？
这个我觉得是创业过程中很自然会发生的嘛。
但你没有反思啊。
我每天都在反思这件事情。
你没有？
我每天都在反思这件事。
但我看不到你进步，你知道吗？
但我觉得你，
我要写 slide。
就是你根据你现在的段位去招人，根据你现在的产品的情况去招人，对不对？就现阶段来说，我觉得队长过来，其实他也做不了什么嘛。
队长都没毕业，他怎么可能过来？
对，我的意思就一个队长这样 level 的人，他过来其实也做不了什么事情嘛，对不对？而且他更何况他
事情可多了好吗？他细节的东西也愿意做，是吧？
对，那你其实招他来做细节，你招他来做细节不就浪费了吗？
不是，他细节的也愿意做，救活也愿意做，大的 scope 他也能设计，愿意设计。队长其实是个非常全面的一个人，而且学的东西非常快。
但是你看过他之前写的合约吗？其实问题非常多，我觉得你可能不懂太清楚，所以你看不出来。其实问题非常多。
我根本就没有也没看过他之前写的合约。
对啊，你会看到他其实很浅。
不是那个问题是他那天跟我讲，说钱超义他跟钱超义沟通，然后说做完了。
我说不是那个合约，是以太冥币的合约。
以太冥币就没有多少功能。
对，但是他那点功能其实他的合约是有 bug 的，你知道吗？而且他的 design 方法也是不对的。
什么 bug？
它的交易功能会在合约中留下气泡，它交易着，它的合约就会爆。
爆是什么意思？
就它的合约会卡死，钱会锁在里面。
我不知道，反正他当时也是刚接触吗？还是我不记得。但是 Frank 不也 fork 了一个吗？
对，
然后你因为这个招了 Frank。
对，这说明其实现阶段你招队长来也是做 Frank 做的事，这是我的理解。然后我自认为我说服不了他，我就说服不了他，就是退学来跟我做 startup 嘛，对不对？
干嘛又退学一次啊？
对，这我现在有自知之明嘛，那所以你就没有必要去 touch 这个，你去 touch 点别人。我觉得998是一个非常好的，正好我们现在也缺后端，而且998它也有精气神。我不是说下周要去苏州嘛，我觉得我就可以去聊998。他非常好，我觉得他是现阶段非常符合我们文化的一个人，是我一定要拿下的一个人。然后还有一个人就是耿彪，我觉得他也是需要拿下的，但我现在不知道怎么做。
耿彪都是我一直在聊，好吗？
小狼明后天也在那个活动，我也约他了，我想先跟他聊产品。
我觉得你该问一下小狼当初为什么不跟你。我觉得肯定不是因为产品原因。
我觉得风险啊，你知道做 startup，
你不要天天拿 startup 当你的挡箭牌。
哎，就我的意思说，
我真的要写 slide。
你的 slide 已经写不完了，来聊别的吧。
操你妈的！你闭嘴什么？你好过分啊！你根本就不知道我现在要干嘛。
我觉得你读过 The Hard Things of the Hard Things 吗？对不对？他不就你想一想嘛。
操你妈！写 slide。
不，你觉得你做 slide 有我们现在讨论这些东西重要吗？
There's a lot of things to analyze when you run your node. So you need to be looking at, am I making money off of these channels? Are these channels just in that no activity state? Or are they in the high activity state? What peers am I using to send my money or to receive my money from my business? Are people making new channels with me and my liquidity is changing? Are my peers, do I have a peer who is just offline and I need to force close with them because I've had my money allocated to them for 6 months and they haven't been around? Was there a channel close and now I lost liquidity to an important source, so I need to create a new channel to restore that liquidity? Is there something weird that my peers are doing with their policies? Maybe they've jacked up the prices on me, so now my inbound liquidity is way higher than it used to be. So that's something that the balance efficiency tool is something that's like a goal that I've had for the tool, is to try to like package all that information into something first that can make it easy for me to understand what to do about it, and then later I can think about how this can be automated, how I can say, I'm making a lot of fees off of this peer, so I should add more liquidity to that peer. I don't want to be making that decision myself. I just want to set up some rules where it just happens. I only have to know about things when they go wrong. I talked about this before, which is how do I manage my liquidity? One way is through circular rebalancing. And before I said that circular rebalancing is pointless, and it is pointless from the high-level perspective of the flow graph. If one person is getting liquidity and another person is losing liquidity.
So our next one is from an Australian company. We've got Jeff Yu from Travel by Bit, and Travel by Bit are doing some awesome stuff in Australia. They've got a lot of merchants and they're supporting them to take Bitcoin and Lightning payment, as well as being the travel partner for the conference. So here's Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff. So I work for a company called Travel by Bit. We're based in Australia. So before I start, I want to basically say that this talk will be a little bit different than what you guys have been experiencing for the past day and a half, because the nature of our project is also a bit different. We are more about bringing Bitcoin to people in a more visible way. So I'm really thankful that there's a lot of smart people in the room that is building things on the infrastructure layer and the protocol layer. And our applications is basically building things that makes Bitcoin more digestible to sort of like future coiners or newbies and stuff like that. So
our next
the sort of like agenda today is basically speaking of experience of Travel by Bit, what it's like operating a Lightning network, POS network, and how and why we do it, and the challenge that we face and what's coming up next. So a little bit about me. So I guess
not only do tensions rise within countries, they can rise between countries.
Really big maximalist.
Beautiful deleveraging. If balanced correctly, there can be a beautiful maintained stability. If balanced correctly, there can be a beautiful deleveraging.
So what is Travel by Bit? So in case of anyone doesn't know, we are basically a travel company that you can book your flights and hotels with and pay in Bitcoin or traditional fiat currencies. So, and also we are also known for operating a merchant POS network, something like this. So this is what our merchant has. We operate a merchant in almost over 400 locations in Australia, and our company ethos is always about driving adoption, making educational efforts to sort of educate people what Bitcoin is, what Bitcoin isn't, and stuff like that, and hopefully guide them through the process and bring them to more Bitcoin services and on a deeper level to understand what the technology can do and what it basically implies. So over the past 2 years, we've expanded our merchant networks from just small cafes and restaurants, we got car washes and all this kind of stuff, to convention centers working with more corporate level. We got large Australian grocery chains as well, and I think you probably see it in a couple of like crypto news that we have in major airport that we announced last year that took basically Bitcoin Lightning payments. So you can see that this is an actual shot of the airport. So every time I travel out from Brisbane, I would just wait for this thing to come out. It's like a 24/7 thing that goes on, and has like Bitcoin logo showing up to like over 3 million travelers that passes through Brisbane airport each year. It's pretty cool. So that's me buying something over the Lightning network at Brisbane airport a couple of months ago. I did that on the way here as well. So another thing we have is a digital currency town. So we partner with local communities and local businesses to initiate projects like this, so that the whole town is a town that is basically a tourist town in the first place. So what they did was that they approached us, Gordon, which is the local guy over there that initiated the whole thing, brilliant guy, started to go around businesses and pitching the idea that, hey, we should make this town a Bitcoin-friendly town, which they did. So you can snorkel there, you can play golf or whatever, and all pay in Bitcoin. The main thing about this is that it drives a lot of like eyes to the Bitcoin. So people that weren't interested in Bitcoin or think it's a fad would now look at Bitcoin a different idea, because like now you have the airport, you have basically a tourist town just right next to the Great Barrier Reef that you can pay everything in Bitcoin. It's basically a big improvement of like this kind of
我永远拥有着你的自己，我不会流泪的名字。
or whatever and all pay in Bitcoin. The main thing about this is that it drives a lot of like eyes to the Bitcoin. So people that weren't interested in Bitcoin or think it's a fad would now look at Bitcoin as a different idea because like now you have the airport, you have basically a tourist town just right next to the Great Barrier Reef that you can pay everything in Bitcoin. It's basically a big improvement of like this kind of mystical magic internet money that people not necessarily know about or care about and see too much. Again, this is all bringing visibility of Bitcoin to more people. So, and yes, we do have a pharmacy that can legally buy drugs with Bitcoin in Australia. That's me buying drugs. Okay, anyway, so our POS works very simply. A user can pay with any Bitcoin or Lightning wallets. The merchant basically presents them with a QR code and the user pays it, bam, and the merchant gets paid and they can either keep it in Bitcoin or can keep it in fiat or can split it halfway, anything basically they want. And this is Daniel Alexius is founder of Living with Satoshi. We work very closely with him. So sometime in, I would say May last year, we partnered up with the Wallet Satoshi team to roll out Lightning payments to all 400 of our merchants, including Brisbane Airport. So you can see people start using it, paying duty-free coffee and stuff at the airport, which
and there's also
cool.
additional
I think it
revenue
was,
that is dealt with
we
other
were pretty
third-party
early, like we were just
services,
like a
and
couple
there's
of
a
months after we
transaction
that went
fee.
live, we were like rolling this Lightning thing out to everyone, and people was like saying, "Oh, this thing won't work," reckless and stuff like that. But what is even more cool is that luckily it worked, by the way. So, what is even cooler from a UX perspective is that all of our invoices, the Bolt 11 invoices, are backwards compatible with the standard Bitcoin BIP21 URIs. So what that means is that the same QR code invoice can be detected and paid by both a Bitcoin wallet or Lightning wallet. And if you pay with a wallet that supports both, you get an option. So this is the Eclair wallet that you can choose to pay on-chain and off-chain. If you have like a Lightning only wallet, it will only read the Lightning part. That's basically how that works. So we got a lot of good feedback, not just from the users, but also from the merchants' perspective, because right now they have like one less option to let the user pick. Do you want to pick Bitcoin or Lightning, or it's Lightning Bitcoin and stuff like that? So it basically solves that UX problem, closes that gap, and we're really happy that more wallets adopted this standard in the coming months. And today, I think most Lightning wallets are able to read the Bolt 11 BIP21 URIs. So how and why do we do it? So we get asked the question a lot. We are a travel company, why are we doing the merchant thing? Firstly, because we are focusing on education at first. Like we are, the company basically, me, our CEO Caleb is somewhere here. So we are all very big Bitcoin geeks, and we want to sort of spread this adoption of Bitcoin and awareness to more people. So we do run meetups, and that photo is one of our meetups that we run in Australia, and we also support similar meetups throughout the whole Australia, whereby people are sort of like interacting face-to-face with people that are new. So this is Caleb again, our CEO, shielding Bitcoin in a TEDx event last year. We're pretty stoked that a Bitcoin focus TED Talk was actually approved, and like we got so many good feedbacks and people starting asking questions, people that are completely new to the ecosystem starting getting interested. So things like this, really cool. I'm still really stoked that that slide went up. So at all these events, we get asked a lot of funny questions, but I think it's important for us to address them all. So one of the newbie questions that we get asked a lot is that, hey, if Bitcoin is money, why can't I spend it, and kind of stuff like that. Although like we all here know that it's a very misguided theory because Gresham's law and stuff like that. So instead of defending Bitcoin by introducing them to like, hey, low time preference and all this kind of stuff, it's better to just get them. Hey, Brisbane Airport and a couple hundred businesses and thousands of online merchants across the world takes Bitcoin. What do you say about that? And then when they click in the mind that, hey, this thing is real, it's no longer magic internet money, then a touch point has been established, and it's easier to then educate them in stages, okay, what this means and stuff like that moving forward. Yeah, I do that all the time with my friends and family, by the way. So much like when you're first introduced to swimming when you're a kid, you start at a kiddie pool. When you're ready, you work your way up to the adult pool. So, like bringing a newbie into Bitcoin is a very delicate and a job that we take very high responsibility of, because if you're throwing people right into the dark pool when they don't know how to swim, it's a good way of scaring them away from swimming for their whole life, right? So the second question, when they understand that, hey, the technology can be used, I see it being used everywhere, big people accept it and stuff like that, they always ask us, hey, should I buy Bitcoin now? And sometimes this question gets asked a lot. Like we get the same people coming to the third and fourth and fifth meetup asking the same question. I was like, didn't I tell you to buy Bitcoin the last time? The price went up, and it's like, oh, I'm not too sure. So it took us a while to figure out that when people ask this question, should I buy Bitcoin now? Usually we're just saying that, oh, if they're asking this, that means they're not ready yet. But we realized that when they ask this question, what they're actually looking for is an assurance that, hey, if I put financial commitment into this thing, I won't get screwed, right? So to us, it's a very simple kind of thing. Yes, definitely, stack sets. Why the hell not? But to them, a yes or no isn't a very good answer. So assuring them by telling them, hey, buy this thing is no risky financial advice, isn't a very good way to get them feel comfortable. But instead, I believe that we should introduce more risk-averse way for people to stack sets, right? So that's why companies like Lolly and all this kind of like stacking sets, earning Bitcoin concept is actually a good way to introduce newbies into Bitcoin, because right now you can actually spread or get them to earn Bitcoin without changing their normal behavior of like spending or stuff like that. So in our travel side, we do have a feature, but most people don't know, is that you can pay in Bitcoin or fiat, right? And you can also earn sats. So our stats back program is actually powered by Lightning as well. So you can withdraw your sats that you earn via to an on-chain address or a Lightning invoice. So why we believe that stack sats is really important? Because like if you introduce someone to Bitcoin and you guide them through the whole flow of going through the rabbit hole, I have the belief that if they own a little bit of Bitcoin through that phase, it makes their fall even more exciting, right? So if you don't own any Bitcoin, you're like, oh, I read this about Bitcoin thing, and then a couple of months later you forget about it. But if you have something that, hey, I have like $10 in Bitcoin somewhere, and then right now I see news about this kind of thing, and I'm like keeping closer attention to it, so you basically keep them in the loop more, also like better and stuff like that. So of course there are challenges. We're not shy to share the things that we face and the challenges. So obviously the first thing is that we are still in the accumulation phase. So this is a great chart, a brilliant chart by Murat. Follow him on Twitter. It says that there is a long time to go before Bitcoin reaches a widespread medium of exchange. So we are right now somewhere at greater safety and greater education. And just nice, that's what we do. So Travel by Bit, we do a lot of education. So we send users to sites to learn more about deeper knowledge about. If you want to set up notes, yes, we can point you to someone and stuff like that. And I think Stefan has a very good website called Ministry of Notes, and we're thinking of like, maybe we can do something around that, but let's talk sometime. And even so, there are people actually spending Bitcoin still. This is a chart of usage for all the transactions on Travel by Bit's platform. So majority if you count number of transactions, majority actually paid in Lightning, which is interesting because that's kind of what we predicted, Lightning are made for small payments. But for currency by value, Bitcoin on-chain dominates the most, pretty much all of them. There's kind of like some shitcoins here and there, but I can't ignore them because it's so small. This basically tells you that, yes, there is a community that spends Bitcoin, but they are more of the kind of advanced user. So we want to sort of bridge that gap between the information asymmetry between the Bitcoiners and the pre-coiners. That's what we're all about. So all of our new merchants, right? So we get merchants requests all the time, but we can't accommodate to all of them because there's no point having so many merchants where there's no one supporting network down the line because they will just drop off eventually. So most of the new merchants that we accept into our network right now are probably basically run and initiated by community themselves. There's a passionate group community. So going back to the crypto town that I showed an example earlier. So Gordon is the guy that initiated the whole thing and worked with us. So he has like schools and roadshows and stuff like that, teaching people Bitcoin, sharing, sending sets around, and even people making up signs, bringing to the school fair and shops, making up their own signs that takes Bitcoin. And we recently found that that's actually an interesting thing. There's this mini circular economy that we always dream about, but it's actually already happening there. Like employees on the store that takes Bitcoin was actually spending a sets on another Bitcoin businesses and or donating somehow to some school charity, which is really cool. So what's next for us? So we're always thinking, what can we do for the Lightning Network? So NFC is definitely a thing. So that's the wallet Satoshi wallet. That's on the left is a Travel by Bit POS with the NFC emulator. So NFC is something that we try to make payment more seamless. So you can see Lightning is pretty lightning fast. So why do we make it faster? Because we always want to make sure that we are experimenting on the forefront, trialing new stuff. So NFC is something that we have already enabled to all our merchant network. Is that it's probably you can't use it. It's because the merchant has to have an NFC enabled device. So our stand is that any merchant in our network that has an NFC enabled device, we can roll this update to you like right now, right away. So another thing is that right now all our merchants relies on our node to accept the payments. So that's something that we want to sort of move them across to. So right now they are still in the kiddie pool. We take care of all the stuff, the channel management, and blah blah blah. But we hope that one day they can migrate to their own node and sort of accepting payments and validate themselves without relying on a third party. Because this is actually good, not just in terms of like you're relying on a third party, but also preserving your transaction privacy as well. So I'm guessing there's a lot of companies in Bitcoin business today that are building solutions to make running nodes easier. Even Udi's presentation yesterday was saying that you can run nodes using AV core on like a unused mobile phone and chuck it somewhere in your drawer in your house. So something that as a Bitcoin geek I really want more people to see, like as a merchant, run your own node. And this is also how we can spread the merchant initiatives worldwide. So at the moment, our merchant is only in Australia, but we hope that with everyone's effort and collaboration, we can bring more businesses and more people to understand that, hey, if we want to sort of grow Bitcoin, make it more visible, maybe we should start with ourselves, because adoption is a long game, it's a marathon, but it starts somewhere. So other than telling your friends and family, hey, buy Bitcoin, you can either introduce them to sites that they can stack sats at a little bit Bitcoin in a more risk-averse way, and also help out your local bar or something like that, spin out a BTC-based server node, or help them start accepting Bitcoin, even though no one uses it. The educational value that is there, it's far more great. It's hard to quantify, but it's actually very priceless. That's actually worth it. So that's it. That's my presentation on Travel by Bit and what's our experience running the merchant network. We'll open up to questions. Thank you.
Sorry. Hey, in the circular economy in this city that you described, are prices quoted in Bitcoin or in Satoshis, or are they still in AUD and converted at the live exchange rate?
Yeah, good question. Right now it's all in fiat. So because like the merchants themselves, that the cafe, the owner accepts Bitcoin, but most of the staff aren't really savvy as well. So you can't. It depends on how fast the stuff rotates. They can't say that coffee costs 0.002 Bitcoin. It's just like whatever's on the menu, just type it in the POS. But that's something that I really hope to see. That some merchants would start denominating their coffee or something small in Bitcoin, because it won't be like all of their sales volume is going to be a couple of coffees a day or something like that. But the fact that you can start to get people used to pricing things in Bitcoin, I think that will change a bit of mindset of a lot of people. Yeah. Any more questions? If not, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, for those of you who are still here, we're going to head out to lunch, but very quickly, if you're interested, Bottle Pay is going to be hosting a lunch and learn workshop. So if you grab your food, I believe they start at oh yes, they start at 1 o'clock. So you'll have time to grab lunch and head up there. So that's going up on the second stage. So
We'll see you back here at 1:30. Thanks, guys. So our next one is from an Australian company. We've got Jeff Yu from Travel by Bit, and Travel by Bit are doing some awesome stuff in Australia. They've got a lot of merchants and they're supporting them to take Bitcoin and Lightning payment, as well as being the travel partner for the conference. So here's Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff. So I work for a company called Travel by Bit. We're based in Australia. So before I start, I want to basically say that this talk will be a little bit different than what you guys have been experiencing for the past day and a half, because the nature of our project is also a bit different. We are more about bringing Bitcoin to people in a more visible way. So I'm really thankful that there's a lot of smart people in the room that is building things on the infrastructure layer and the protocol layer, and our applications is basically building things that makes Bitcoin more digestible to sort of like future coiners or newbies and stuff like that. So the sort of like agenda today is basically speaking of our experience of Travel by Bit, what it's like operating a Lightning network, POS network, and how and why we do it, and the challenge that we face and what's coming up next. So a little bit about me. So I guess most of you here don't know who I am, but that's me on Twitter. I am a Bitcoin geek, really big maximalist. I sort of like play around with the Bitcoin space for a couple of years and found a bit hobby projects, but right now I'm working as the head of product at Travel by Bit. That's my graduation cap, by the way. So what is Travel by Bit? So in case of anyone doesn't know, we are basically a travel company that you can book your flights and hotels with and pay in Bitcoin or traditional fiat currencies. So, and also we are also known for operating a merchant POS network, something like this. So this is what our merchant has. We operate a merchant in almost over 400 locations in Australia, and our company ethos is always about driving adoption, making educational efforts to sort of educate people what Bitcoin is, what Bitcoin isn't, and stuff like that, and hopefully guide them through the process and bring them to more Bitcoin services and on a deeper level to understand what the technology can do and what it basically implies. So over the past 2 years, we've expanded our merchant networks from just small cafes and restaurants, we got car washes and all this kind of stuff, to convention centers working with more corporate level. We got large Australian grocery chains as well, and I think you probably see it in a couple of like crypto news that we have in major airport that we announced last year that took basically Bitcoin Lightning payments. So you can see that this is an actual shot of the airport. So every time I travel out from Brisbane, I would just wait for this thing to come out. It's like a 24/7 thing that goes on and has like Bitcoin logo showing up to like over 3 million travelers that passes through Brisbane airport each year. It's pretty cool. So that's me buying something over the Lightning network at Brisbane airport a couple of months ago. I did that on the way here as well. So another thing we have is a digital currency town. So we partner with local communities and local businesses to initiate projects like this, so that the whole town is a town that is basically a tourist town in the first place. So what they did was that they approached us, Gordon, which is the local guy over there that initiated the whole thing, brilliant guy, started to go around businesses and pitching the idea that, hey, we should make this town a Bitcoin-friendly town, which they did. So you can snorkel there, you can play golf or whatever, and all pay in Bitcoin. The main thing about this is that it drives a lot of like eyes to the Bitcoin. So people that weren't interested in Bitcoin or think it's a fad would now look at Bitcoin as a different idea, because like now you have the airport, you have basically a tourist town just right next to the Great Barrier Reef that you can pay everything in Bitcoin. It's basically a big improvement of like this kind of mystical magic internet money that people not necessarily know about or care about and see too much. Again, this is all bringing visibility of Bitcoin to more people. So, and yes, we do have a pharmacy that can legally buy drugs with Bitcoin in Australia. That's me buying drugs. Okay, anyway, so our POS works very simply. A user can pay with any Bitcoin or Lightning wallets. The merchant basically presents them with a QR code, and the user pays it, bam, and the merchant gets paid, and they can either keep it in Bitcoin, or they can keep it in fiat, or they can split it halfway, anything basically they want. And this is Daniel Alexius is founder of Living Room Satoshi. We work very closely with him. So sometime in, I would say May last year, we partnered up with the Wallet Satoshi team to roll out Lightning payments to all 400 of our merchants, including Brisbane Airport. So you can see people start using it, paying duty-free coffee and stuff at the airport, which is pretty cool. I think it was, we were pretty early, like we were just like a couple of months after the mainnet went live, we were like rolling this Lightning thing out to everyone, and people was like saying, oh, this thing won't work, reckless and stuff like that. But what is even more cool is that, luckily it worked, by the way. So what is even cooler from a UX perspective is that all of our invoices, the Bolt 11 invoices, are backwards compatible with the standard Bitcoin BIP21 URIs. So what that means is that the same QR code invoice can be detected and paid by both a Bitcoin wallet or Lightning wallet. And if you pay with a wallet that supports both, you get an option. So this is the Eclair wallet that you can choose to pay on-chain and off-chain. If you have like a Lightning-only wallet, you will only read the Lightning part. That's basically how that works. So we got a lot of good feedback, not just from the users, but also from the merchants' perspective, because right now they have like one less option to let the user pick. Do you want to pick Bitcoin or Lightning, or it's Lightning Bitcoin and stuff like that. So it basically solves that UX problem, closes that gap, and we're really happy that more wallets adopted this standard in the coming months. And today, I think most Lightning wallets are able to read the Bolt 11 BIP21 URIs. So how and why do we do it? So we get asked the question a lot. We are a travel company, why are we doing the merchant thing? Firstly, because we are focusing on education at first. Like, we are, the company basically, me, our CEO Caleb is somewhere here. So we are all very big Bitcoin geeks, and we want to sort of spread this adoption. Of Bitcoin and awareness to more people. So we do run meetups, and this back photo is one of our meetups that we run in Australia, and we also support similar meetups throughout the whole Australia, whereby people are sort of like interacting face-to-face with people that are new. So this is Caleb again, our CEO, shielding Bitcoin at a TEDx event last year. We're pretty stoked that a Bitcoin focus TED Talk was actually approved, and like we got so many good feedbacks, and people starting asking questions, people that are completely new to the ecosystem starting to get interested. So things like this are really cool. I'm still really stoked that that slide actually went up. So at all these events, we get asked a lot of funny questions, but I think it's important for us to address them all. So one of the newbie questions that we get asked a lot is that, hey, if Bitcoin is money, why can't I spend it, and kind of stuff like that. Although like we all here know that it's a very misguided theory, because Gresham's law and stuff like that. So instead of defending Bitcoin by introducing them to like, hey, low time preference and all this kind of stuff, it's better to just get them, hey, Brisbane Airport and a couple hundred businesses and thousands of online merchants across the world takes Bitcoin. What do you say about that? And then when they click in the mind that, hey, this thing is real, it's no longer magic internet money, then a touch point has been established, and it's easier to then educate them in stages, okay, what this means and stuff like that, moving forward. Yeah, I do that all the time with my friends and family, by the way. So much like when you're first introduced to swimming when you're a kid, you start at a kiddie pool. When you're ready, you work your way up to the adult pool. So, like bringing a newbie into Bitcoin is a very delicate and a job that we take very high responsibility of, because if you're throwing people right into the adult pool when they don't know how to swim, it's a good way of scaring them away from swimming for their whole life, right? So the second question, when they understand that, hey, the technology can be used, I see it being used everywhere, people accept it and stuff like that, they always ask us, hey, should I buy Bitcoin now? And sometimes this question gets asked a lot. Like we get the same people coming to the third and fourth and fifth meetup asking the same question. I was like, didn't I tell you to buy Bitcoin the last time? The price went up, and it's like, oh, I'm not too sure. So it took us a while to figure out that when people ask this question, should I buy Bitcoin now? Usually we just think that, oh, if they're asking this, that means they're not ready yet. But we realized that when they ask this question, what they're actually looking for is an assurance that, hey, if I put financial commitment into this thing, I won't get screwed, right? So to us, it's a very simple kind of thing. Yes, definitely, it's like sex. Why the hell not? But to them, a yes or no isn't a very good answer. So assuring them by telling them, hey, buy this thing is no risky financial advice, isn't a very good way to get them feel comfortable. But instead, I believe that we should introduce more risk-averse way for people to stack sats, right? So that's why companies like Lolly and all this kind of like stacking sats, earning Bitcoin concept is actually a good way to introduce newbies into Bitcoin, because right now you can actually spread or get them to earn Bitcoin without changing their normal behavior of like spending or stuff like that. So in our travel side, we do have a feature that most people don't know is that you can pay in Bitcoin or fiat, right? And you can also earn sats. So our sats program is actually powered by Lightning as well. So you can withdraw your sats that you earn via to an on-chain address or with a Lightning invoice. So why we believe that stack sats is really important? Because like if you introduce someone to Bitcoin and you guide them through the whole flow of going through the rabbit hole, I have the belief that if they own a little bit of Bitcoin through that phase, it makes the fall even more exciting, right? So if you don't own any Bitcoin, you're like, oh, I read this about Bitcoin thing, and then a couple of months later, you forget about it. But if you have something that, hey, I have like $10 in Bitcoin somewhere, and then right now I see news about this kind of thing, and I'm like keeping closer attention to it, so you basically keep them in the loop more, also like better and stuff like that. So of course there are challenges. We're not shy to share the things that we face and the challenges. So obviously the first thing is that we are still in the accumulation phase. So this is a great chart, a brilliant chart by Murat. Follow him on Twitter. It says that there is a long time to go before Bitcoin reaches a widespread medium of exchange. So we are right now somewhere at greater specificity and greater education. And just nice, that's what we do. So Travel by Bit, we do a lot of education. So we send users to sites to learn more about deeper knowledge about if you want to set up nodes. Yes, we can point you to someone and stuff like that. And I think Stefan has a very good website called Ministry of Nodes, and we're thinking of like, maybe we can do something around that, but let's talk sometime. And even so, there are people actually spending Bitcoin still. This is a chart of usage for all the transactions on Travel by Bit's platform. So majority if you count number of transactions, majority actually paid in Lightning, which is interesting because that's kind of what we predicted, Lightning are made for small payments. But for currency by value, Bitcoin on-chain dominates the most, pretty much all of them. There's kind of like some shitcoins here and there, but I can't ignore them because it's so small. This basically tells you that, yes, there is a community that spends Bitcoin, but they are more of the kind of advanced user. So we want to sort of bridge that gap between the information asymmetry between the Bitcoiners and the pre-coiners. That's what we're all about. So all of our new merchants, right? So we get merchants requests all the time, but we can't accommodate to all of them because there's no point having.
All right, we'll move on to our next talk. Claudia Diaz from NIM, Lightning Network, privacy threats towards network adversaries.
Thank you very much. Here's the thing. Yeah. Thanks. So hi everyone. So wow, it's a lot of light here. So I have two hats. So I'm an academic. I have an academic background. I'm a professor at the KU Leuven, where I did my PhD 20 years ago already, and I've been working the last 2 decades on privacy technologies. So I'm coming from the privacy world, not really from the blockchain world. And the questions I've been looking at are, okay, so how do we conceptualize privacy? How do we model it? How do we have metrics for privacy? How do we design it into systems? How do we analyze how much privacy systems are providing? And the answer is much more complex than just use CK snarks or just use Sphinx. I mean, it's a lot more complicated than that, unfortunately. And since very recently, I've joined NIM Technologies as chief scientist, so now we will also be building privacy technologies, not just designing them on paper.
Okay, so next we have Igor Korsikov. He's going to tell us about typical vulnerabilities in Lightning apps. Welcome.
Thanks, Igor.
Hello, Berlin. How are you guys doing tonight? All right. Okay, so let's start. My name is Igor. I'm the creator of Blue Wallet. We added Lab Marketplace pretty early. I think it was January this year, and it feels like a lifetime ago. So I've seen a lot of vulnerabilities in those labs we listed. And basically every second new lab someone sends me is some kind of vulnerable. So like, I'm not even excited anymore about finding vulnerabilities. Because at first I was like, yeah, it's vulnerable, I can hack it, I can extract some Satoshis out of it. But now I'm like, okay, it's vulnerable. Maybe I'll report it in a week, maybe, if I won't forget. So I decided to give this talk for developers, hoping that they will write more secure labs with better user experience. They won't lose money on them, they won't get wrecked. So let's start, we don't have much time. So there are 4 typical Lightning apps vulnerabilities that I've discovered, like top 4. 2 of them are Lightning Network specific, 2 of them are general web app vulnerabilities. And when I say Lightning Network specific, I don't mean that protocol is vulnerable. What I mean is that general lack of understanding how Lightning protocol works by developers makes them make bad decisions, which makes them write bad code, which is vulnerable. So let's get started. First, what is Lab? Lab is a piece of software that works with Lightning Network, interacts with Lightning Network. But usually when you say lab, Lightning app, you mean a web page that can receive payments, that can send payments, and that can require signature from a user. This is basically authentication. This is rarely used, but I hope it will be used more. And in this talk, we'll be mostly covering withdrawal functionality. Withdrawal functionality is not rare. It's like gambling apps, like exchange apps, like some app that can send you money. There are probably ways to trick it to send you more money than you're actually allowed to get. And this is basically hacking, extracting more money than you're allowed to. First attack, I like to call it hold invoice attack. To better understand it, let's refresh in our memory how send payment works in Lightning Network. So imagine Charlie wants to get paid by Alice. So what he does, he creates a pre-image, he hashes it, and this hash is a puzzle. So he adds metadata like expiry time, like text description, the amount, routing hints. He signs this, and he gives it to Alice. Now, Alice wants to pay this invoice. What Alice does, she creates channel state update to Bob, who is the routing node in this example. And Alice protects this channel state update with this puzzle. And Alice promises to Bob that Charlie has a solution to this puzzle. And if Bob will make the same channel state update to Charlie, Charlie will release a pre-image, and the payment will be finalized. So both channel state updates will be finalized, and that's it, payment is done. The bottom line is, if you're Charlie, life is good for you. You either see the incoming payment, either you don't. You either accept it, either you don't. Well, you're always in determined state. If you're Alice, life is not as good for you. Because once you've made the first channel state update, you don't know what's happening anymore. If it's stuck, like, you have no idea. You can't cancel the payment. You can't redo the payment, because if you send the payment again and it will go through, and both payments will go through, you're essentially paying for the same thing twice, and that's losing money. So yeah, life is not good for you if you're Alice. And a lot of labs are not prepared for this scenario. Like, if the withdrawal payment is stuck, lab is not prepared. So if it's stuck, and if you can, sometimes you can send another withdrawal, and the total amount is greater than you are allowed to withdraw, this is essentially hacking the lab and making more money than you're allowed to withdraw. Let's take a look at the code example which handles withdrawals. So this is theoretical code. There are several issues with this code, but we'll be focusing only on hold invoice attack in this example. So imagine there is a handler function that handles withdrawal requests from a web app, for a web app, and we have a balance check. If balance check is okay, we do the send payment through Lightning, and if it goes okay, there is a callback function that reduces user's balance. Now, if the payment is stuck, and this lab is totally not prepared for that, if the payment is stuck, the attacker could request another withdrawal, and it will be stuck again. It's actually stuck on the callback function of before we reduce user's balance. So someone could issue several withdrawals, and they both get stuck. Then they get unstuck magically, they go through, and oops, you've got negative balance, because several callbacks actually fired and reduced user's balance, and it became negative. This is real life screenshot from Tip&Me from the time it was still vulnerable, so someone pulled this off actually, maybe by accident, and he withdrew more than he was allowed to. To make things even more interesting, Lightning Labs released a cool feature which is called hold invoice. And this acts as a regular invoice, except when Charlie, if he should hold invoice, once he sees the incoming channel state update, he's not releasing the pre-image automatically. He's waiting for node operator's input, whether to accept invoice and release the pre-image, whether to cancel it completely. So this is a tool to make stuck payments 100% of the time, like all the time. And you can take this tool and feed it to some lab and see if it's prepared to actually handle stuck payments. So this is a way to execute this attack. First, you compile LNZ with the support of hold invoices. Then there's a handy script, invoices.sh, which creates the hold invoice, creates pre-image, creates hash, then writes a settle invoice string to settle.sh. This is a handy script we're going to use later to claim incoming channel state updates. And then we add hold invoice and print it in console, and we can take this invoice and feed it to some lab that allows withdrawals. Now, if you're lucky, you'll see this. You check your list channels, and if you see several pending HTLCs incoming, this is like several incoming transactions to you. You can claim them both with settle.sh script, and boom, you've got more satoshis than you're allowed to withdraw. How do you protect against that? Well, you should atomically look out full withdrawal amount. Yeah, before doing anything else. And this lock should not auto-expire. As a developer, I know it's handy to make atomic locks auto-expire, but don't do this because it's really tricky to get this auto-expire timeout right. It's related to CSV delta and it requires more investigation. And there's no right amount for now. It's not 5 minutes, it's not 1 hour, it's not tied to invoice expiry because invoice expiry time in reality is just a meaningless number. So what I usually do, I wait more than 24 hours and yeah, if it's, and I check list payments during this period. If it's not there, if the withdrawal is not there, then in 24 hours it's safe to lift the lock. If it's there, then you lift the lock and reduce user's balance and disregard invoice expiry. Next attack, stealing free fees. I know that you all heard that Lightning payments are instantaneous, it's almost free, so yeah, if I'm writing a lab, I want to offer my users free withdrawals. But if you do this, actually someone could set up a routing node with pretty high fees and always withdraw through this node. And this node will automatically claim all the fees, stealing all the fees. And then the fee limit here won't help. So there's no difference between 1% fee limit, 10% fee limit. Once this automated, hacker will drain your balance dry from your channel. How do you protect? You don't give away free fees. Well, the way I do it is I lock away user's balance, the withdrawal amount plus fee limit. So if user wants to withdraw 100 satoshis and the fee limit is 1%, I lock out 101 satoshis. And this 1 satoshi will go towards fee, if any fees. You might be a little bit smarter than I am, so you can calculate the actual route's fees and ask user whether he's willing to pay this exact route with these exact fees. Theoretically, this is how we would do this. So in this example, we're querying route to a destination with a specific amount and sending a payment with a fake payment hash. So no one has a solution to this payment hash. And if it will bounce back with the payment hash error, this means that the payment actually went through this specific route and bounced back because destination does not know the solution to the hash. This means you can take fees from this route and ask user whether he's willing to pay those fees. And then, if he's agreed, then you pay this specific route. Next, this is my favorite attack. Actually, it's really common. It's really simple to make this mistake. In fact, you can go back home and try your internet banking or try your favorite e-commerce. It might be vulnerable. I really like a story when some dude hacked Starbucks website for infinite gift cards. Oh yeah, that was pretty sick. And he actually responsibly disclosed this attack to Starbucks, and they almost sued him. Yeah, but it turned out well for him. Well, the same code that handles this, handles withdrawals, we check user balance, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is, this is probably handled by a web server. And the chances are it's handled by a multi-threaded web server. So with a little bit of luck, someone could request several withdrawals at the exact same time, and this executed is at the exact same time, so the user balance check goes at the exact same time, and it passes. And the execution reaches the send payment stage, and several withdrawals are executed, and boom, you're hacked again. What do? You set the atomic lock, and if you couldn't obtain the atomic lock, you should throw an error. Next, this is a stupid mistake. I'm sure you guys not that stupid to make this mistake, but what usually happens is you have all the checks in place that the amounts are positive all the time, but then you refactor something, you rearrange a little bit of code, and you omit this check, and you're suddenly vulnerable. I know only one solution to this is that you write tests. So if you have acceptance tests, if you have integration tests, please include a test case for negative amounts. And this way you'll know if you introduce regression to your code that something went wrong and you should go back and fix it. This concludes our 4 typical vulnerabilities, my personal top 4 vulnerabilities for labs. But just to make this talk a little bit more complete, let's go through other attack vectors with Lightning Network. I remind you that zero-amount invoices are still unsafe, so someone could steal the whole amount, almost the whole amount. This is how it works. So imagine you're paying zero-amount invoice, and the routing node can make a guess that this is a zero-amount invoice payment. So instead of routing the full amount, routing node will send to destination only 1 Satoshi. Destination node will release the pre-image because destination node does not know the real amount. And this pre-image will finalize the payment across the route, and boom, the routing node stole the majority of the payment, the most of the payment. There are no evidences that someone pulled this off in mainnet, actually. But I saw developers joking on chats like, oh, this is just a fee maximization algorithm. You get it? Fee maximization algorithm. So someone could pull this off, like, be prepared. Of course, you all know about unsafely open channels. It was patched in major implementations of Lightning Network nodes, so let's skip that. Next, someone could issue old state transaction and DDoS you. And the curious thing here is that DDoS is not that expensive. Like last time I checked, it was $70 per day to rent a botnet that's capable to bring down pretty good server. So it comes down to a basic math, whether it's profitable to rent a botnet and the channel value is higher than this. Yeah, basic math. Next, someone could observe the offline-online patterns of the remote node and choose the best timing to issue all state transaction. Actually, big hubs or hubs serving mobile users are in perfect position to pull this because mobile users tend to go online, offline all the time. Sometimes they go offline for a prolonged period of time, like going to a vacation, losing their phones. I know Watchtowers is supposed to fix this, but I'm not 100% convinced yet. We heard the talk yesterday by Patrick that Watchtowers brings a whole new set of complexities, and I'm sure there are other attack vectors for Watchtowers. So let's keep our hands on the pulse all the time. And as a final thought, if you're not vulnerable to those 4 vulnerabilities, this doesn't mean that you're on the safe side. There are other vulnerabilities like XXX, injections, blah, blah, blah. So be prepared. And as Lightning Network economy grows, I assure you, black hats will come, tooling will be made, exploits will be written, every possible hole will be tested and penetrated. So if you're thinking you're safe, you're not safe. Even worse times are coming. Because Lightning Network economy grows, and the incentive for black hats will rise. It will be bigger. So we're not on the safe side yet. And as a final thought, the best practices. If you've never written any fintech code, like don't store user balance as a single variable. Always calculate user's balance as a sum of all transactions. Don't store amounts as floats, only as ints. And really, signed ints are okay. Don't try to force unsigned ints everywhere. We have enough bits, really. And relational databases and transactions are a nice thing to have. There's a reason they're the gold standard in payments industry, in fintech, in enterprise. If you use them, you'll thank yourself later. And always log everything and keep all logs and do regular accounting, like daily probably, maybe more often. This way, if you'll see some difference between what you actually have and what you're expected to have, then you should go back to your logs and check what happened, what went wrong, where did I lose money? And don't be obsessed with MVPs. I know a lot of labs are written by web developers. They have an MVP mantra, fail fast mantra. This doesn't work here. This is just a way to get wrecked if you're writing very, very fast, like not secure code. And I would like to say thanks to Justin from Bitrefill, to Andre from Zigzag, and great guys from Iron Radar Tech. This talk wouldn't be possible without those guys, so thank you guys. And I'm done. Thanks for listening. You can shoot me an email if you have any questions, or if you have time, you can ask me now. Do we have any time? Cool, cool. We've got 4 minutes for questions. Thanks, guys. No? No questions? Come on, anyone's got questions?
Yeah, I hate to bring up the E word, but some of these bugs, especially the sequencing of checking your balance and sending money, reminds me of a certain coin with smart contracts. So you may want to look at some of the incidents of how the DAO blew up and what kind of mistakes they made, because you may make the same mistakes with these dApps.
Yeah, I can. I'll probably look into this. Or this was a question.
Yeah, that was my suggestion. Like, look at this. Yeah, look at the similarities.
Okay.
Unless you remember one you want to bring up.
Thanks for the talk. It was great. I was just wondering, the Blue Wallet server-side implementation, I know that you can spin up your own and connect your Blue Wallet to it.
Yes, yes.
Are you thinking of some ways to kind of have like a federation that maybe connects with channels to each other so that there's like a Blue Wallet independent server, like kind of web of hubs or something?
Yeah, I had this thought, but I hadn't had any time to work on this. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe people will spin up their own L&D hubs, and then in the end it will interact with each other and open channels with each other automatically. But I haven't seen too much demand on this.
Yeah, because like we were talking about yesterday, I think this could also help with the multi-sig implementation for the on-chain wallet as well, because maybe the independent like federated servers could like exchange PSBTs with each other, as well as also like automatically open channels and prefer to open channels with other Blue Wallet nodes. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I don't have time for this right now.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be demand for this, and I'll make this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Igor. That was great.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to coffee break now. We got about 20 minutes, and did you want to just...
and we are actually still deliberating about the best memes. There's a lot of good ones. So we're actually going to announce those at 5:40. So definitely stick around till then.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Enjoy the next hour with Apparat, Sascha Punke, live from Berlin for the next hour.